covering passage 4, questions 21 to 27. This is a research passage. We know it's research because it has different experiments. They'll either say experiment 1, experiment 2, or study 1, study 2. This one also has steps to the experiment. So in doing this one, you want to look at the steps because you're probably going to have a question about that. And then know the basic differences between the two experiments. As quickly as you can, you want to get to the questions. So in less than a minute, I'd say 30 to 45 seconds, because you're not looking to understand deeply, just understand the basic ideas of how to approach the questions. Question 21, according to the results of experiment 1, for any given catalyst, as the temperature was increased, the number of cycles needed to complete the reaction did what? So the temperature goes up. What happens to the cycles? They increase only, no matter which one. So the answer is A. In experiment 1, 26 cycles were needed to complete the reaction at 450 degrees Celsius when which catalyst was used. So we see 450 degrees, 26 cycles. We're at this catalyst right here, which is the triangle. So catalyst X. So your answer is G. Question 23, the movement of H2 and N through the apparatus as steps 1 to 4 occurred is best represented by which of the following expressions. So we know it starts here and then it moves through the reactor. So the reactor will be step 1, so we can eliminate B and D. And we can see it ends in pipe B, but it has to go through one of the pipes before it gets to the condenser. So it has to be choice C, reactor to pipe to condenser to pipe. So reactor, pipe, condenser, pipe. That's the cycle. Question 24. Consider the results of experiment 1 for 375 degrees Celsius. All the H2 and N2 were consumed in less than 20 cycles when which catalyst were used. So actually let's erase this one, because when we erase it, if we hadn't erased it, we couldn't see that data point right there. And so which ones it was consumed in less than 20 at 375 for everything except for this one. So the circle, so everything except catalyst W. So catalyst W is up here. So X, Y, and Z only. So choice J. If a trial had been performed in experiment 2, so remember with if, suppose, why questions, you're going to have to think about it. At 425 degrees Celsius and 225 ATM, the amount of NH3 produced would most likely have been. So 425 is between the star and the square, so between these two, and we're at 225 ATM. So at that point, so we are between about 230 and maybe 230 and 320. So choice B. At 1 atm of pressure, the melting point of NH3 is negative 77 degrees Celsius, and the boiling point of NH3 is negative 33 degrees Celsius. Based on this information and the description of the apparatus, when NH3 exited the condenser, was it more likely a solid or a liquid? So when I glance, I see it's exiting negative 50 degrees Celsius. So let's change the color of the boiling point. So if it boils at negative 33, anything warmer than that will be a gas. If it melts at negative 77, anything colder than that will be a solid. Between these two states, it will definitely be a liquid. So we can eliminate choice F and G, and we can say liquid because the temperature of the condenser was between the melting point and the boiling point. So it's between these two, so it has to be a liquid. So our answer is definitely choice J. Consider the trial in experiment 2 that produced 550 kilograms of NH3, which is right there, and that is 300 degrees Celsius line. Based on figure 1, so we can go up to figure 1, we're going to be using 300 degrees Celsius here. We're looking at the number of cycles needed to complete this reaction. So as the temperature increases, we have more NH3. We're just looking at 300. We know it's not going to be greater than 15 or greater than 10. So C and D are definitely out. And because greater pressure produces more NH3, this temperature, I would say it's going to be below 5. So you have greater likelihood. So less than 5. So A. That's a tricky one. It's a tricky one to think about. Reach out if you have any questions.